3 more teams to go, Alex. Come on, you could do this. Hello, Internet. Welcome to another rendition of the Game Addicted Show. I'm your host, Alex, and we're here to break down another team on do they deserve to be in the playoffs? Are they overrated? Let's find out. But before we jump into today's subject, please consider leaving a like if you enjoyed today's video. And if you'd like week-to-week content on college football, please consider subscribing to this channel. We cover college football every week using the VPI formula, which, if you haven't heard, what are you doing with your life? It is a formula I created where I look at a team's strength of schedule, their opponent's total offense, total defense, look at their accomplishments for the season, and determine do they deserve to be ranked where they're currently ranked. So with that being said, this week's team, Alabama, the most hated of hated teams out there. I mean, I don't know if you hate them. I definitely don't like them. But I want to determine today, is Alabama overrated? Do they deserve to be in the playoff conversation? And with the playoff committee about to release their polls for the top 25 teams, I'm curious to see, will they be considered a top 14 for the playoffs? So for those of you who may watch my last video covering LSU, I made mention how the SEC is actually ranked number 2 amongst all conferences, just not Power 5. So you might be thinking, why so low? Are you being biased? Who are you favoring? The Pac-12? Well, as much as I'd love to favor the Pac-12, and believe me, that would be great, but they are not doing so great. No, it's actually the Big Ten who's currently ranked number 1, and it's really not that close. They are quite an accomplished conference this season, but still not knocking the SEC. They are doing great. They are ranked number 2 again. Now, when we look at Alabama specifically, according to the teams they've played up to this point, not including the teams they still have left in their schedule, their strength of schedule is ranked number 64 under 130 teams, which puts them right there, dead center in the middle. So Alabama, a solid, not great strength of schedule. So playing the SEC, but having a mediocre schedule, you have to really question, does Alabama deserve to be a top 5 team? Here's the problem anytime I discuss the SEC, and also the ACC for that matter. The 4 non-conference game scheduling really hurts your conference. I know you benefit from it because of the way the current system's set up with the media polls favoring traditional powerhouse schools, but they really shouldn't take away from just how bad sometimes non-conference scheduling has been. The one thing to look at Alabama, their best victory this season so far has been against Texas A&M, which I know was considered a top 25 team when you played them, but let's be honest, they're not a top 25 team. So I'm not saying it was a bad win, but it wasn't something that really deserves as much notoriety as it received. And one thing to look at with Alabama is that not so much who they played, but they still have on their schedule. And who do they still have? They still have Auburn, a team who I've been campaigning for all season. I think they're a really great SEC team, and at one point, I even had them in the playoffs, but LSU and Florida has something to say about that. And also, we have to look at the big matchup they have against LSU, which I strongly believe is going to determine which team is going to represent the SEC in the playoffs. So let's answer the question, is Alabama overrated? Survey says, not really. Here's the thing. Yes, Alabama is ranked number 2 in the AP polls. We'll see what the committee decides. But here with the VPI rankings, they're ranked number 3. So really not a big drop-off. I honestly can't even say they're overrated at all. I think they're right where they should be. I mean, to say one team's number 2, one team's number 3, if you're both in the playoffs, does it really matter, you know? So Alabama, they've beaten every team ahead of them. They are undefeated, which is a major feat on its own. And they still have some major games still left on their schedule. So I know earlier I mentioned how there were 64 amongst all 130 teams in college football in their strength of schedule. But I think playing the Auburns and LSUs of the world, and we'll still see who they match up against in their conference championship game, there's still a lot there to really boost their strength of schedule and really make an argument for Alabama to be in the playoffs. So right now, I think they're in a great position. And no, Alabama is ranked right where they should be. So let's just see what the committee thinks. And that's it for today's video. Yes, I knew it was a short one. I just wanted to do a little quick deep dive into Alabama. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Alabama is ranked where they should be? Should they be ranked a little higher? Should they be ranked a little lower? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, please consider leaving a like on this video if you really enjoyed today's content. And if you'd like to continue to help build this community and join in the conversation, please consider subscribing. I'm here every week. I'm not going to leave you. Doing college football videos and some crazy analysis. Sometimes I dress up as a pickle. Don't get used to that. But we're here to hopefully give notice to some teams that maybe aren't getting the recognition they deserve, and also bringing light to schools that really do deserve to be in the playoff conversation. So if you enjoy it, please consider subscribing. But until then, guys, I enjoyed speaking about the SEC so much, and I'll see you guys all next week. Goodbye.